All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of The Blind Spot, where we talk with blind athletes reaching excellence. I am your host, Program and Safe Sport Coordinator for the U.S. Association of Blind Athletes, Mr. Kyle Coon. Joined, as always, by producer extraordinaire, Bill Kellick in the background. Thank you, Bill. But hey, guys, we are so pumped, as always, to be welcoming. This week, we're going to have just in a minute or so, I'm going to introduce our guest I'm very excited to talk to. But as always, guys, just a few little housekeeping items. If you haven't, obviously you guys are tuned into the Facebook page, but remember to follow USABA on our other social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're putting out just a ton of content, especially as we get closer and closer to the games. You guys, this is our 45th anniversary of USABA being in existence. So keep an eye on the social media channels for things like our 45 for 45 video series. Every week, we're putting out just so much stuff about the Paralympics as we get closer and closer. I mean, my goodness, we're only like 45 or 46 days out, I think now. Just getting it's getting close. But as always, guys, we're so excited. Just getting closer and closer to the games here. But enough of my ramblings, enough of the housekeeping items. Let's get to the reason we're here, and that is to talk to another outstanding, amazing Paralympic goalball team athlete. And actually, I believe this is our first member of the women's goalball team that was announced just about a month ago. So, guys, I am very pleased to welcome to the Blind Spot Marybai Huking. What is this? Your second? This could be your second Paralympics. In 2016, you won a bronze medal. But oh my gosh, Marybai, thank you so much for joining the Blind Spot today. And man, just thanks for being here. I'm thrilled to finally get a member of the women's team on, because you guys are killing it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So Marybai, let's go ahead and just start with some of the basics. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who is Marybai? What is your losing my train of thought here. Just tell us a little bit about your vision or your eye condition, and how you found your way to goalball.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Marybai. My teammates call me Mare, or MB, because Marybai is kind of a mouthful on the court. But I'm 24. I recently graduated from the University of Utah, and the eye condition I have is albinism. So I've had it since birth, and that's just a lack of pigment in my hair, skin, and eyes, which has resulted in my visual impairment. And for the most part, my vision is I'm a little bit light sensitive. I struggle with detail, and it definitely helps for me to have a lot of like high contrast to be able to see things. But I have been playing the sport for around a decade now, and it's kind of crazy just thinking about how, Rio feels like just yesterday. So it's kind of crazy being this close to Tokyo and just realizing like what a huge role the sport has played in my life over the years, and having been involved in this community for such a long time.
Wow. So you're 24 years old. You said you've been playing goalball for about a decade now. So you started when you're like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think of it now, but yeah.
And I mean, you were a member of the bronze medal team in Rio. So you're 24 now. So you were like 18, 19 years old when you went to your first games as a goalball athlete. What was that like? You were the baby on the team. The youngest member. tell us about a little bit about that.
Yeah, I have kind of always been one of the youngest members, also the shortest member of the team, as long as I have been on it. And yeah, honestly, it was terrifying. My first games, I was just so young, and I was playing with a lot of veteran athletes. So I think being in that position, I was just awestruck by everything that happened. I'm kind of known for taking a lot of pictures of everything. And so I think I have probably like 400 pictures from that experience, because I had to take pictures of all of it, the cafeteria, the athlete village, our venue, everything. So I captured all of it because I was just so excited to be there, so excited to be part of something incredible. So yeah, it was scary though. It was so scary.
That's awesome. But hey, a little fear is good. But man, so this is you talk about, having a pretty veteran laden team in Rio. I think this time around for going into Tokyo, it's a pretty veteran laden team. You're still one of the youngest members on the team, but you got a little bit more experience now. So talk about, you learned a lot from that experience in Rio. But just tell us a little bit about who have been some of the people that have influenced you or played a major role in your goalball sporting life or your life just in general outside of goalball. Being someone that's on the younger side, we try to learn from those veterans. So tell us just a little bit about some of those influences in your life.
Yeah, I really, as I have kind of grown up with this sport, have met just so many incredible people. I don't think there's any one person who has made the biggest impact, because so many people have made a big impact on me throughout the sport. I think starting with when I first was being introduced to goalball, Tony Jepson, who used to be the executive director of the Utah Foundation for the Blind, and was my very first competitive coach in goalball, taught me so many lessons about sticking with things when you don't, when it gets tough and when things are hard. And I feel like there were just so many lessons as I was younger that I learned, and then that were only reinforced as I kind of grew up with this sport and was introduced to all the incredible people who are now my teammates. I met them through the process of playing at domestic tournaments and playing against these players, and just thinking like, this is amazing, like to see people who are able to play at this level. And, as I've gone through these experiences with them, gone to so many tournaments, training camps, we've like lived in the same places. And throughout all of that, I've learned so much from all of them, from Lisa, from Asia, from Eliana, Amanda, every single person who I have had the opportunity to play with, now and on the previous team when Jen was still playing. So many of them really like took me under their wing, especially as being the youngest, and helped me work through like the nerves, and we're able to talk through the really difficult parts of this game, being able to overcome adversity, and honestly, kind of like any job, you don't always get along like perfectly well with everyone that you're playing with. So I think one of the things I really have learned from this experience is being able to see all of the incredible things that other people have to offer, realizing you're not always going to get along, get on each other's nerves, especially when you spend 3 weeks together at a tournament doing the same things, living together. So I think being able to like have acceptance for that, and working with other people, and just being able to still learn things from people in those experiences.
Absolutely. Awesome. So how exactly did you find your way to the sport of goalball? You mentioned the Utah Foundation, for the blind, or, did you get introduced to the sport through them, or, walk us through, kind of your journey into finding goalball?
Yeah. So, when I was younger, I actually competed in figure skating. That was my primary sport. And when I moved to Utah in 6th grade, I had a teacher, I'm so sorry, my dog is walking over. um,
That's okay. We love it. We love our
she wants to be
friends
part of this interview.
Oh, totally. My dog is actually hopping around on 3 legs right now. Otherwise he'd be doing the same thing. So I get you.
But I was still figure skating at the time, and I met a teacher here in Utah who was like, wow, you're athletic and you're visually impaired. There's this really awesome sport that you should try. It's called goalball. And I was super iffy about it. I got taken to a practice, and I went from the experience of, makeup and sparkly dresses and figure skating, which is just very girly. It's just super, it's a very girly sport.
Yes.
And I went from that experience to being told to dive on a dirty gym floor. And I was not jazzed about the experience at the beginning. It was such a different sport. And honestly, I was terrified of getting hit with the ball, which most people, when they first watch goalball, they can understand that feeling of, oh my gosh, that looks like it really hurts. I at first wanted to quit. I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't think this is very fun. I'm just going to stick to figure skating. But in Utah, they have a tournament at the end of the season where all the players who were at those different practices come together and play a co-ed tournament. So my mom was like, just stay on for that tournament, just see if you like it. And if you still don't want to play, you don't have to. I was like, okay. So I went through and went to all the practices and, went to this tournament. And that experience of being part of a team was something that I had never had before, because figure skating is an individual sport. And I got to meet all of these incredible girls, which I had also never really had a lot of visually impaired role models in my life. I just didn't know very many people who were older than me, who had visual impairments. And being able to be in this community, I met so many incredible people that day. I was just like blown away by how much fun it was to be part of a team. And I was like, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. I'm like, this is what I'm going to switch to. So wow. It was kind of on that day that I made all these friends, and I think I kind of made up in my mind that like, this is what I want to do. This is so much more fun, and everyone's so much nicer here.
little, not quite as cutthroat and nasty as figure skating, or so. Yeah. No, that's crazy. I've heard some stories in the figure skating world. I live at the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and I got to be friends with a few figure skaters. But no, hey, go. I mean, you talk about. It's just such a drastic change from individual sport to team sport, but that there's definitely parallels, from obviously you took the discipline that is involved with figure skating to the goalball court. Let's chat a little bit about what does it take to succeed in getting. You were 18, 19 years old when you made your first Paralympic team. What does it take to make it to that level, and to do it again? So like, talk us through a little bit about your training, what you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and how you stay motivated through all of it.
Yeah, it's definitely such a long road, especially leading up to games, and especially this time around with that extra year being added. We were all so ready to compete and just so excited for the games. And I think it has been, really difficult, especially at the beginning of that year, to face the fact that we had another year of just hard work, training, and just grinding through. And, like you mentioned, figure skating taught me a lot of lessons that were really, really well transferred into playing another competitive sport. hard work, long hours, attention to detail, being able to just drill things over and over and over again and wanting to do that and enjoying doing that, because that's ultimately what leads you to being the kind of athlete that you want to be. So being able to stay driven and motivated by that kind of progress, I think transferred over really well. And, some of the things that my teammates have taught me kind of have more to do with like aggression and working together as a team, knowing other teams. And, honestly, and this just comes from my experience of now being part of a team, I can't imagine doing this journey without a team behind you. Right. I think that's how a lot of us make it through, because it is difficult. So much of what we do, it is, for us, we are training 5 days a week. And then it's going to be more than that when we are actually at tournaments that might be longer. Sometimes we'll have 2 sessions a day. Every session is several hours long. And then in the time between, you are analyzing film, you're doing meetings with our amazing staff members. Like, we have such an incredible staff, but You're doing meetings with those staff members. You're spending hours doing recovery because we don't have very much time between our training sessions. And playing the sport at this level also means a lot of sacrifice. My family lives in Utah, which I'm visiting right now for a little while before I go back to training. But it means missing a lot of birthdays and family events and vacations. And I think for me, what has been so incredibly meaningful to be able to make it through all of those things and continue wanting what we are all working for is the fact that we are all working for it as a team. Everyone is making these sacrifices. Everyone is working hard. We're all having conversations about how difficult this sport can be, and just sports at this level in general. And so I think, honestly, that is what gets me through this, is having that team behind me, having so much support in Fort Wayne with our staff, people around the country. That's what makes this worth doing and makes all those sacrifices worth it.
It's awesome. Do you have is there a tournament or a match or something that kind of stands out in your mind as, maybe a favorite, memory or maybe an impactful tournament or match or something where, you kind of realize that, look, I've now made it to this level and I'm good, or is there a time when you're thinking that, and all of a sudden there was a tournament where you were really struggling, and how did you overcome that? So I mean, let's go to both ends of the spectrum. Let's talk about some of the highs and some of the lows that you've experienced.
I think that is the really cool thing about sports is there are these moments where you are just so lifted up and you feel like you're on top of the world. And then there are moments where you are very humbled and put in your place and reminded about, how much you have to work on. And you kind of, you just have to take it all in stride. But so I guess, first of all, a really positive experience was probably Montreal it was either 2016 or 2017. The US brought a team to that tournament, and we had a player who was injured during the semifinal game. So I ended up playing the entire final game, which for me as like a newer player and not, I wasn't usually a starter, was a huge deal and just a lot of pressure. But we played that game. It was Eliana, Amanda, and I. And we won the tournament. So we won the final. It was the first time the US had ever won that tournament.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a cool feeling to be able to, step in and be able to play the role that I needed to for our team when they needed it. Because especially being in the position that I'm in, and this is still sort of the position I'm in, is I get put in whenever I am needed. If we need to speed up tempo, if we need more creativity, just whatever the team needs, I kind of have to be prepared and ready for whatever that looks like. So it was really, a proud moment for me in that situation where our team was struggling, and that is what they needed, was for me to step up and be able to play that final, and that I could do that I was ready for that. And then I think on the flip side, 2 years ago, 2019, Lima, Peru, we were playing in the final against Brazil. And in the semifinal, one of our players had been injured. So it was kind of a similar situation. So I came into our semifinal game and, you know, we locked it down defensively and we won that game. We made it to the final. We were playing against Brazil and we were doing great. And then we went into overtime. And I think this is where I really had to face some of the limitations of like where I was at and what I was ready for. I was shaking like a leaf. I was so nervous out there. It was so much pressure. And, you know, being put in that position was really scary. And I let in the game-ending goal during overtime in the final at the Pan American Games. And it was just heartbreaking. So, you know, in sports, that's the thing. There are like these huge highs and just these heartbreaking lows. And I think, you know, again, like going back to team, like this is where team comes in because we've all had these experiences. We have all had times where we needed to step up and we showed up. And we've also had times where we had to step up and things went horribly wrong and we made mistakes. And, you know, I carry that. I think that moment will always stay. And that's, you know, understandable. And that's how sports are. Like those things that are really important to you will always hurt a little bit. But I think what I try and do and what I've learned from some of my teammates is being able to use that, you know, like this is the passion that helps us win medals in the future. Like you have to have those failures. You have to have those moments of, oh my goodness, I'm absolutely devastated because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to. Because those are what drive you during your training to say, I'm not going to let that happen again. How do I mentally prepare myself to be ready the next time? You know, because there will be a next time that there is high pressure and I'm asked to be in this position and my team needs me. What am I going to do to be ready for that?
Wow. Wow. Very, very wise beyond your years, I must say.
Thank you.
my goodness. I mean, let's change gears just a little bit. I mean, like we talk so much about, you know, sport and the pressures of sport, how we succeed and, you know, the failures and how we've bounced back from those, you know, those failures and all that. But like, what about like outside of goalball? Like, what do you like? What's your passion? Like, what do you like to do? How do you turn your brain off of, you know, to get away from those pressures of, you know, elite level sport?
Yeah. I think I'm probably not alone in this as an athlete, that a lot of the things I love to do are athletic. I am from Utah and grew up in Montana. So I'm just all about the mountains. Anything I can do to be in the mountains, snowboarding, rock climbing, hiking, camping, anything where I can be outside in the sunshine, doing something, you know, physical that, and I think because goalball gives me so much competition and pressure, I really try to find activities that are like physical activities that, you know, aren't about that and have nothing to do with me competing. So I think a lot of those activities I do purely because I enjoy, you know, working hard. I enjoy being physical. But I think outside of sports, I'm a painter. So I absolutely love anything that has to do with art. Drawing, charcoal, acrylic is what I work in right now, but I kind of bounce around between different mediums. So yeah.
Do you have a specific thing that you enjoy? You know, do you do landscapes? Do you do portraits? What kind of specific discipline within art do you do, or you know, does it kind of vary?
Yeah, I kind of have a different style depending on what medium I'm using. Whenever I do acrylics, I'm usually doing landscape. So I actually do a lot of commissioned work for that. And then I tend to kind of switch over to something completely different. So for a little while, I was doing like charcoal dog portraits. And now I'm trying to learn watercolors. So I'm kind of just experimenting with whatever subject I want to use. I've been doing like a couple animals. So it really just depends. Kind of depends on like what mood I'm in. You know, I'm an artist, so we go through phases of things. And
for sure. Do you, I mean, is that your job outside of goalball? Like, you said you do, you're commissioned to do some stuff. I mean, do you do your best to make a living at that, or is it just kind
Um,
of a side hobby?
I think for now it's a side hobby because in a lot of
Yeah,
ways, goalball does take up a lot of my time,
for sure.
and is in some ways kind of my job. So for now, art is sort of something that I do, on the side to relax and have fun and be creative.
Love it.
It's something that, I don't know. I'm 24, so I'm at that point where I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I'm like, I graduated and I don't know if I want to continue with what I got my degree in. So who knows?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think for now,
What'd
I'm
you
just,
get what'd you get your
exploring all
degree
sorts of
in?
things. Psychology. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in that phase of life where I just want to try everything. I want to try all the different things and kind of figure out what I am really passionate about.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, I think right now let's go ahead and just open it up to the fans who are watching us on Facebook Live. I'm sure we've got a handful of questions. People want to get to know you a little bit more, or want to pick your brain on some, find out your goalball expertise. So we'll go ahead and flip it over to producer extraordinaire, Mr. Bill Kellick. Bill, what kind of questions are the fans dropping in for Marybai here?
Yeah, actually, the timing was almost perfect. They were asking about what your future plans are, whether more goalball or back to school. And I think you just mentioned that, but if you want to elaborate any more on that, Marybai.
Yeah. So going along with, wanting to try lots of random things, I'm actually getting my yoga certification in India in October. So closely following the games, I'll be kind of moving into something new and trying that. And ultimately, I have no idea. I kind of just want to try all sorts of things. I love psychology. I loved that that's what I got my degree in. And I learned so much about myself through that process. But I'm not quite sure. I also love school. So I'm not sure if I do want to go back and go to graduate school. It was kind of always my dream to get my PhD in psychology. So I'm still keeping that on the table, but at least in my 20s, I'm just going to experiment and do all sorts of random things. I really want to work on a farm, which is just, I know, super random, but, and maybe I want to do seasonal work or work on a cruise. I don't know. So the short answer is I have no clue. I'm just trying things out.
Well, Marybai, I'm 6 or 7 years older than you. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah. There are just so many options. I can't decide yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have one other question, Marybai, asking about the 2017 American Championships or Pan American Championships. I'm not clear about when you played in the semifinal against Brazil. Do you remember anything from that?
That was in 2019.
Yeah. Okay. So not the 2017.
I'm trying to remember. We had a tournament in 2017. Trying to remember what that would have been, though. We have like major tournaments so much in so many summers. Would have been the year after. Oh, that was in Brazil. I think we were actually in Brazil for that.
Yep, playing against
for the
Brazil.
Pan American Games. Does that sound right?
Yeah, do you remember
what was the
game?
question?
The question was from Ernst. He was just asking how you felt after the semifinal game in 2017 against Brazil. If you remember.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember that far back, and we've played Brazil so many times since then. So I'm sorry, I can't remember that specific game enough to tell you how I felt about it.
Yeah, no worries. That was all the questions, Kyle, for now.
Okay, awesome. Well, I do want to go ahead and move into let's I want to get to some some fun lightning round questions here in a hot minute, but I did want to go ahead and touch on a couple of other things real quick with you Marybai, because since COVID hit, you guys have basically played one major tournament, and you guys were supposed to you guys were supposed to be going to Israel here, I believe. But are you feeling like you're ready to go in and defend that bronze medal and make sure that you're shooting for higher on the podium? Or it's been a tough sledding here the last couple of years with COVID and not getting as much international competition. So are you feeling ready? Or what's your mindset going into Tokyo in just a few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. We were fortunate enough that we did get to compete in one tournament this year, and that was Lithuania a couple of weeks ago. And then, yes, we found out today, like this morning, we found out that the Israel tournament got canceled. We were supposed to leave tomorrow. Like we were also supposed to be flying to Tel Aviv tomorrow. So honestly, it was very disappointing for the entire team. And I think, though, a couple of things with this year, we took our time at the beginning of it to really kind of face some of that sadness and disappointment for something we had been working for 4 years to compete at. So I think we took a little bit of time, almost like a grieving period for a lot of us, to just face that and realize we've been working so hard and this is not going to be happening for us this year. But I think after that period, we really switched gears and realized, like, this is an extra year of preparation. What can we do with this? We were able to be really honest with ourselves about some of the things that we needed to improve on as individuals and as a team. We started working with a sports psychologist, which, along with all the other experiences and improvements, just like really helped our team as a whole to kind of, face things like, how do we work through adversity? When do we play our best? And some of those like fine-tuning details that are going to make a huge difference for us when it comes time to actually compete. And I also recognize that, unlike a lot of other teams around the world, we've been so fortunate to still be able to train and to be able to train together. We are just so incredibly thankful to have our resident program as an option for us. So, of course, Israel would have been great. It would have been amazing for us to have one more tournament before Tokyo. But all things considered, our team has still been able to improve in so many ways. We've been able to work on so many things. And I think that we are more ready, absolutely more ready than we would have been last year around this time, had the games happened at their original date. So we're ready. Our team is so excited for this to be happening.
Awesome. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and let's roll into a few just quick little lightning round questions, get people to know the fun side of a little bit of the fun side of Marybai. So do you have a favorite like post-match treat? Like you've just won gold at a major tournament and you're like, I need a treat. What is it?
I don't know if there's a post-match, but pre-match, I love to eat gummy candy.
Really?
And I told our nutritionist, Kate, I was like, look, Kate, I'm going to eat gummy candy no matter what. So I might as well eat it at a time where it's going to help my playing. So there was like one tournament where I brought like a 5-pound bag of gummy worms. And it was just like, I'd like hand them out to people pre-game. Really burnt myself out on gummy worms, so I got to switch to another one now for Tokyo. Okay. But I love gummy candy. That is honestly like my favorite snack ever. Anything sour gum.
So I was gonna say, are we talking sweet gummies, sour gummies? Are we talking
everything, but especially sour gummies? And I make a point of anytime I see a new like fun thing that they come out with, I always try it. I always get the weird ones that everyone's iffy about.
Okay. Maybe we can find out. This is a family friendly show, so I have a feeling some of the gummy treats in college were interesting, but I'm just kidding. I'm messing
Not
with
pre-game though.
Not pre-game. That's for sure. I'm just messing with you. What's your Goalball number actually?
Number 9.
Number 9. Lucky number 9. All right.
I'd totally be 11 because that's my favorite number. I was born on 11/11 is my birthday.
Ah,
we're not allowed to go past 9. So I'm as close as I can get to 11.
all right, all right, all right. Well, we're gonna have to submit some type of petition or
I
something
know,
to get
some
you a
sort of
number 11.
appeal. I totally agree. I'll be the first one for that.
Come on, like, seriously. Do you have a favorite music genre or specific band or artist that you like to listen to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will always love late 90s, early 2000s country. That's what I grew up with in Montana. But I don't like any of the recent country. I only like that time period of country music.
Yeah, I think the country music that's going on right now is just getting a little too popish for my
They started
liking.
rapping. They started rapping in the country songs. I'm not about that. So
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Give me some good old Alan Jackson and those guys. Yep, totally. You a sparkling or plain water gal?
Plain water for sure.
Plain water. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Ooh, coffee. Well, and tea. I love both of them, but coffee in the morning, tea at bedtime.
Okay. Do you have a favorite bedtime tea?
Yeah, there's like this sweet and spicy. I think the brand is Good Earth. I don't know anything about it, but it comes in a white box and it just tastes like Christmas. It's just the best ever. Yeah.
I like that description. It tastes like Christmas. That's awesome. I love that. I think based on a little incident that happened earlier in this conversation, I think I know the answer to this question. But dogs or cats?
Oh, actually, okay. I usually would always say I'm a dog person, but 2 cats have come into my life recently, and they are just the most amazing thing ever. I'm so torn now. I think I love them all. I can't say I'm a dog person. I would be betraying those 2 girls that I love so much. So
okay, all right, that's fair. I think that's fair. All right, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
That was pretty hard and fast.
Absolutely. Chocolate all the way.
Are you I mean, you're 24, you said. So are you stay up late, or are you at your crack of dawn kind of person?
Oh, unfortunately, like I wish I could be one of those things, but I'm not either. I don't really like getting up super early, but I also don't like staying up late. I think I really like sleep. I like to sleep. Yeah. So if that answers that question.
Totally. Hey, it is, everyone has their thing. And everyone's definition of up late or up early is completely different. So I mean,
that's true.
I'm one of those people. I'm like, it's 8:45 at night. It is way too late.
If there's a good reason to get up early, if I'm like going on a camping trip or going on an early morning hike, I'm totally fine to get up. There has to be like some reason.
Yeah, totally. I gotcha. Awesome stuff, Marybai. Well, I mean, I've just got just a couple more questions for you. And one of them is one that I really like to just ask all of my guests that I bring on. And that is like, who or how, Marybai, how do you want to be remembered?
That's a really good question. I think something that's really important to me, just as a person in general, and this obviously translates to me being an athlete, I think is authenticity. Really like being myself, and part of what's important to me being myself is positivity and being able to really lift other people up. So I think I want to be remembered as someone who, really cared about the people that they played with, and, was positive and excited to be here. And, that's something that I really try to bring into coaching as well. I've done a bit of youth coaching, and that's kind of more, when I am done playing on the national team, what I'd like to move into is youth coaching. And I think that positivity and excitement and, just doing something that you love and being authentic to who you are while you're doing that is like what I want to be remembered for, and what I want to continue, whatever direction I end up going in.
That's awesome. I love it. And look, I think, being an artist, being, in the outdoors, I mean, you're 100% your authentic self, and just keep doing that and keep being that, and just keep being that role model for everybody around you. I'm definitely, I can say I'm definitely a Marybai Huking fan for 100%. But for those, and I know what I'm going to be doing as soon as we get off here. But I need to know, how can we follow your journey? Do you have, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? How can we best keep up with you and your adventures of what you're doing, whether that be goalball or art, or any of the other various fun things that you like doing? How can we follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook as myself. And I don't post all that much, but I post lots of pictures, and I try to do updates when we're at tournaments. So that's on Facebook, and then the USA Women's Goalball team has a Facebook page. So if you're interested in following a lot of our games, our tournaments, what's happening, we'll have links there for how you can follow, us at the Paralympics and what's going to be going on, all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to follow that, that's on the women's Facebook page. And the women's Facebook page, or the women's page, also has an Instagram. And then if you want to follow my artwork, I'm only really on Instagram for my artwork. So that's Art by Marybai. So you can see all my paintings and stuff.
Awesome. So guys, go check out Marybai on Facebook, Marybai Huking. Maybe we can drop a link to that in the comments, and we'll make sure to also drop a link to Marybai's Instagram for her artwork. And you said that's art by Marybai, or Yep. So at Art by Marybai. So we'll make sure to drop that in there as well. And then, just finally, Marybai, I mean, look, you gave out a couple of shout outs, earlier when we were talking about influences and all that. But I mean, I always like to give people just, an opportunity. There've been, whether that be sponsors or, close friends or family, or people that have just helped you along the way. I just want to give you an opportunity to, just give a couple shout outs to, those people or those organizations that have really helped you along your journey.
Yeah, definitely the Utah Foundation for the Blind. They got me started with goalball, kept me going with goalball, gave me opportunities to coach, to travel. And that was ultimately what led to, me even being considered for the national team, was my experience with them. So all of the coaches there, all of the athletes, just an incredible organization. And then big shout out to my family, my single mom, Claire, and I have 4 brothers.
Oh, wow.
And they've been here through everything. They, are so patient and understanding when I do miss everybody's birthday, which my brother Colby just told me about a couple of days ago, that I missed everybody's birthday this year for goalball things. And they, they're very supportive and understanding of, how important this is to me in my life right now. And that, these sacrifices do have to be made. And unfortunately, I can't always be around. But, my mom, especially, who she would drive me an hour away every Saturday to go to goalball practices, and just everyone who has given me countless rides to the airport at sometimes ridiculous hours, I think are, some ways that really just made it possible for me to even continue to compete and play. So my family just, means the world.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Marybai, so very much for being a guest on the Blind Spot. I know you're super crazy busy these days, especially gearing up for Tokyo. I want to wish you the absolute best of luck. I know our women's goalball team is ridiculously strong, and I'm excited to be. I'm excited to watch you guys bring home some hardware, and I have a feeling I know what color we're shooting for. So but best of luck. Train hard, keep pressing and just be be that authentic self you want to be. And guys, as always, be sure to give Marybai a follow on Facebook, on Instagram. Let's give her some support. And as always, we'll be sharing all kinds of stuff in the coming weeks as we prepare for the Paralympics. So follow that women's goalball team on Facebook and Instagram. If you guys aren't following us USABA already, give all of our social media channels a like and a follow, because we're gonna be we're posting more and more stuff. Bill will drop a link to sign up for the newsletter in the comments down below as well. Guys, we got so much going on in the build up to the Paralympics. So as always, thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Thank you, Marybai, for being our guest this week. I believe we've actually got we're lining up a couple of guests for next week. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, as we'll be letting you guys know who we've got coming up as we continue to interview and talk with our Paralympic goalball team athletes who will be representing Team USA in Tokyo coming up in just about, less than 50 days now. So super exciting stuff, guys. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will talk to you guys next week as we're bringing on more and more goalball athletes, getting you guys pumped up and ready for the games. Marybai, as always, thank you so much for joining. Keep crushing it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's been it. That's all for us today. We will we'll see you on the flip side.